Alright, I'm doing another league with Dank Living End because you can't keep a good deck down. Okay, round number 1 here with Dank Living End. Our opponent's playing the normal 60 cards. I'm playing 96 cards. That's an advantage for me, in my opinion. Pretty good opening hand here. Just need a white mana. We've got Force of Negation. And we got 2 cyclers. So, fun fact about this deck, I've done 2 leagues now. They were both during the One Ring Modern, so this is my first post One Ring ban. Dank Living End match, just looking for, I guess I'll take a land here. Yeah, that's a land. And I 4-1'd both of them. The first one I didn't record. We had a bunch of pretty clean wins, like against Storm. We were able to bring in Dranis Magistrate, get him with that. I played an Eldrazi list, I think, where I brought in Inevitable Betrayal. Then I played a mill deck, hilariously enough. So Force of Negation, we have either of their enablers covered here. I'm going to force that, and I'm going to pitch the Subtlety. All right, maybe we got their own. Yes, we got their land. Nice. Play the Odawara to save life. And then I'll cycle both of these Curators. I mean, after playing Living Battle of Wits, playing just a nice, small 96 card deck is such a relief because, oh my gosh, Battle of Wits stinks. I did manage to get wins in both of those videos, both match wins and game wins. However, they did not come easy. Mainly because Magic Online can't really handle them. Okay, so we need green mana now. Gonna just leave up Hardcast Force of Negation. Maybe our opponent will go for another Faithful Solution here, and we can just get them to Rage Scoop out of the game by countering it. Green mana would be great. There is white mana also. White mana is just as good. Rafine's Tower is the Esper Triumph. And I'm not going to pitch the Endurance. I'm going to leave it up. Opponent discards to hand size, a Glimpse. So this looks like Storm. This doesn't look like a Dredgevine deck or anything like that. There's a Breeding Pool as well. We'll play that tapped. No, we got the Ardent play. And I still have Force backup. I really have 2 forces because Endurance is kind of like a Force of Will for the graveyard. And hopefully opponent just leaves the game. We get a nice easy win here. They didn't draw a land, but they're not giving up. They go to discard. Discard a Wren's Resolve. Yeah, this is 100% Storm. Okay, nice. And now I'm just going to leave up Force of Will. Force of Negation, you know what I mean? What do they discard this time? Discard a Ruby Medallion. I'll Suspender the Search for Tomorrow. Attack with the Curators. And this is looking pretty good for us. Opponent gets their second land. We will not be allowing this to happen. And we managed to get a win and a quick one too. Going to time is often a point of concern for this deck. So we take out the Living Ends, bring in the Dranists, and I need to bring in one more card. So I'll bring in the, I think, a 1 Leyline of the Void. Maybe I want more a Leyline of the Voids. And 4 of those. I want to take out. Scape Shift is probably a little slow, but I'm going to leave it in there. I think we definitely need all of our card draw. I'm going to take out Deceiver Exarch Kiki Jiki. I need to take out one more card. Spy Feeder could actually matter if they are able to like get a grape shot for like 20 and we could go up above 20 life. So for that reason, I think Subtlety does slow down. I'm just going to take out Archangel Thune. Subtlety slows them down if we get a Row with it. That's a lot of lands. We can go search. I mean, that's a lot of lands. I'm going to mulligan looking for a Cascade spell. There's a Cascade spell, but we can't cast it right away. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to ship back. So I need Stomping Ground. I need Otawara. What I don't need is Mountain. And I need this Cascade spell. Although it's not the best because it requires them to have a Ral in play and not a Mox Ruby. Alright, they start the game just like last game. And I think if you had a fetch land, you'd lead with it. Well, actually, no. If they had a fetch land and a tap land, they'd lead with the tap land. Okay. I'm going to lead with the Search. Suspender. And then we can just pass priority and reveal that we have nothing. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I have enough time here that I can make them think a little bit. Hopefully this is a Ral into nothing. There's Ruby Medallion, not what we wanted to see. Debatably, I should have brought in the Besagus as well. There's a Force. That's pretty good. I can cycle Curator and then pitch this somewhat unnecessary Gifts Ungiven. Still need black mana. I think I'll cycle. I think I'll cycle again. Now I'll Force. Just gotta slow them down. I have to give myself the opportunity to top deck. They can keep going here, but at least that probably staved them off for a turn. There's a Valakut Stoneforge, which is the other side of Valakut Awakening. All right, here we can go get a Swamp. We don't really need it yet because we can't cast our Demonic Dread. Demonic Dread has the unfortunate downside of requiring a creature in play. Go for the Riverwinder. I don't have any ways to make a cheap creature. And Endurance isn't the best draw. We can't cast that. Okay, so if opponent's got a good hand, they can probably go off next turn. There's a Faithless Looting. That's a good start for them. Desperate Ritual, Arid Mesa. That's what they discard. There's a Morphos. I'll just pitch. I'll just F6. Okay, they're flashing back Faithless Looting. Thought I sixed. I think game 3 I'm going to bring in the Besagus. if we come to that. Getting the Ruby Medallion is a big deal. They've been a Ral, so they're too smart. They're too wise to put Ral in play, especially seeing that I went to get a Swamp. They might know that I'm playing Demonic Dread and need that Ral in play. They wish with 1 mana, with 2 mana here, so they can get a 3 mana sorcery or instant. They can't empty yet, nor should they. Not sure what they get here. There's a Blood Moon. Well, that actually doesn't turn off my only Cascade spell. That is another reason to also bring in Besage. And I'm going to bring in things that hit artifacts and enchantments, and I'm going to take out, I think, an Oliphant. I want to leave Scape Shift. I'm going to take out Oliphants. Yes, play first. That's pretty good hand. Escape Shift is a little bit clunky, but I can get basics. And we have a Leyline of the Void, so the opponent's going to have to do a lot more work to beat us. I might just wait to see what I draw. But I want to go get a Surveil land here. That's tiny from when I was playing Battle of Woods. I think I want to get Thundering Falls. All of my Cascade spells involve blue or red, so I will graveyard that. They could Morphos, or they could Ritual into a Blood Moon next turn. So I'm going to just hold up Fetch Basic Forest here. And actually, since I'm going to get basic with this Misty, I might just hang on to it and see what I draw. Actually, no. I'm going to tap their land that they get in their upkeep. I think that's a better use. Elegant Parlor. Exiles a land, so they don't need lands. I'm going to go get a forest, so that hopefully we can't get hecked out of the game again. Ice. Tap your land, draw a card. Well, it's a shame we didn't get a white mana. The good news is we have another one in our deck, so we could still cascade into one. And also now we're just a white mana away from owning them. Unless they had the foresight to bring in Lightning Bolt. And they bring in a colorless land. Or they play one. There's another subtlety. Play. This hand is a land away from doing it. Because what I can do is just, if I have another land, I can go get Ruby Medallion. Well, that doesn't help. I can't subtlety that. But it's really hard for them to win through Leyline of the Void. That's something that still hasn't changed about Storm. Alright, a land here would be so good. There's a Curator. That could be a land. That was a really good draw. Alright. Tap that. We sure have drawn our blue lands. And now I will pitch to counter Rao. Yes. Now they have a choice. Where do they put it? Show game log. They put Rao on top. They exile it with Reckless. They play a land and cast the Rao. Okay, so there's a Rao. They can... Drawing a white land here would be so good. They could theoretically go off. Yes. I need a... Oh no, I don't have a hollowed fountain. Oh no. Alright. Catchery Triumph, Forced Island Mountain. That's not what I want. I want... Sure, Rafine's Tower. Oh no. This is such a punt. I don't have a hollowed fountain. I'll get Rafine's Tower. And hopefully... So now I can go get... I could potentially, I think, Gifts Ungiven for... If they interact with my Leyline of the Void... No, I can't Gifts Ungiven for anything that impressive. Past in Flames is worthless. So they're reliant on these Morphoses. And then if I just draw... Okay, we found an opponent for round number 2. This hand kind of stinks. We're on the draw, though. And the problem is that this Proving Ground can't cast any colors of Teferi, so I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to keep that. That's a good one. I'll put back Spike Feeder. If Force of Negation's good, then I want to keep 2 of them. And if it's not good, I don't think Spike Feeder is going to help us much more. So, gosh, that last round was upsetting. We were so close to winning all 3 games. Keep, ditch Spike Feeder, done. And if they try to go Faithless Looting here, I will force it. I will not force a Thoughtseize. Go ahead. Opponent's probably confused about what's happening over here. This looks like a hybrid of Rhinos and Living End. From our opponent's perspective. I think I'm going to start with the Steam Vents next turn, unless he takes the Curator. It's good to think about what you're going to do when you don't have anything to do in Magic, because that way you can make a faster play when it's your turn. When I play in Paper, a lot of times when a game is... Oh, that's a horrible draw. When a game's still happening, I will get out my sideboard and start planning what I'm going to do to save time. You know me, I love winning by timeout. If you watched the last Dank Living End video, you know all about that. Dauthi Voidwalker. That is a heinous card to see. They took Fire Ice so that we couldn't get rid of it. Well, that thing is probably just going to end us outright. I'll pay 2 life, and I will suspend. I think it's worth it to pay the 2 life there. If a card be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile with a void counter on it, and then they can sacrifice it. They can sacrifice Dauthi to cast a card with a void counter. They do have a creature in play for a Demonic Dread. And I'm in the Force Pitch Force mode right now, because I just have to slow the opponent down. Fellmire. What is the other side of Fellmire? Okay, that's the creature spell. Exile target player's graveyard. Doesn't really matter. It's Bajuka Bog on a creature. He attacks with his shadow creature. Well, we're getting beat down pretty good here. Search for Tomorrow has one more turn left. There's an Ardent Plea, so we can, next turn we can at least clear the board. I don't need any more of those. And I will Force of Negation just straight up anything. Hopefully he puts more creatures in play. He doesn't know we have a Cascade spell in hand. He plays a Fellmire. All right. I'm going to get a Plains, and then we'll see what our draw step is. That's tiny. Plains. What do we draw? Mountain wasn't the worst draw, because now we're closer to a Scape Shift win, which is probably how we're going to have to get this guy. Or gal. Avatar is a girl, so. And because of the way that Living End is worded, Living End just goes to the graveyard. It does not get exiled to Dothi Voidwalker. Hopefully they surgical extraction it and get this embarrassing Living End out of our hand. Can't counter that with Force of Negation, so we need to draw something else that deals with a creature. And another land wouldn't be the end of the world. I think our best draw here, though, is Gifts Ungiven. There's a Shardless Agent, which is playable. I think I'll try to go one more turn without using that. I could Shardless Agent, not cast the Living End, and then block. And then really we've made a complicated removal spell. But I think what I'll do is instead see if I can get something with this Force of Negation. Our opponent's not incentivized to cast anything, though. They know about Force of Negation, so. Draw step. There's Kiki-Jiki the Mirror Breaker. I'm going to start with Shardless Agent. I'm not going to cast Living End. Opponents at 13 on their own accord, too. This might be a good matchup for Hidetsugu's second right. We can cast Kiki-Jiki naturally. Not going to cast it because that would bring back two of their creatures. Yeah, Boggart Trawler is a creature on its main side. No. Yeah, it is. That's why Belcher works. And then when they go to attack, I'm going to surprise them and not block. I don't need to get any more colors out of my deck. And if they have a removal spell, I can force it. Well, it's my turn. I can't do that. So, alright, we can see. We were dead no matter what happened. I stand by the play. I think it was right. I'm going to bring in those Hidetsugu. And then I think I take out both infinite combos. They don't seem very reliable. All right, I think that's right. Archangel Thune doesn't even survive Soul Spike. Jeez, what is taking everybody so long to sideboard? This is a very straightforward decision. You bring in all your stuff for Dank Living End, and you take out everything else. Hopefully I remember to cut this part out. Oh, Dranith Magistrate, we failed you. Look at this guy. He was so ready to win the last round. He had circles going around both of his hands. He turned this guy just into an empty pile of clothes. Stony Silence guy didn't want any. Archangel Thune Lady she was aroused. This person from like the future is just like, oh, shaking their fist. They're so mad about last round. Let's see. Kikichiki's pointing like that's the guy. All right. Enough of that. There's Magic to play. I'm going to keep on the premise that we're going to draw another land. If I draw another land, I have ice to draw, hopefully, another land. If I draw nothing, I can at least cycle Curator. And if they thought sees me, I'm going to run into a corner and cry. Actually, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't have to run anywhere because that's already where I am and what I'm doing. I like how this hand could get under Bogart Trawler. Even if I don't bring back very much, it could still slow the game down, force them to deal with the board. Did anybody else, or did anybody think that last turn I should have just passed and not blocked? I don't think that was right. Because my plan was I could set up just a blocker every turn with Kikijiki copying Charlotte's Agent. Opponent is thinking really hard about what to do with this polluted delta on their turn. Not sure what's happening here. Apologies. Alright, opponent cracks the fetch land. Maybe the doorbell rang. They get a basic swamp. And they ink me. Well, good luck taking my Cascade spell. If they take Fire Ice, then we know that they're going to play Dothy Voidwalker. If they play, even if they play Fire Ice, they take Charlotte's Agent, so they don't have Dothy most likely. And now's the moment of truth. Do I draw a land? No, I do not. And now they know that I'm mana screwed. Unless I draw a land. And I drew a land. Like I said, there was never a doubt. I will Subtlety a Dothy Voidwalker. Unfortunately, I don't have a land in my graveyard yet that I could get with Sky Turtle. And now they could Thoughtseize me and take anything, and it doesn't even matter because I can't cast anything. So the choices are Fire Ice and Demonic Dread. Actually, does Fire Ice count? Maybe that was their only choice. I think I cared like the least about them taking the Cascade spells. Third land. Boom. What'd I tell you? So what do we do here? Alright. I think what I do is shock it in. And then on their turn, I attempt to... Actually, I think on their draw step. No, I have to wait. Because if I did that any sooner, they could Thoughtseize the Charlotte's Agent away. They have Bogart Trawler now. Well, they have enough mana for Bogart Trawler. I don't know if they have it or not. They play a third land. This guy also has Fell the Profanes in his deck, but that doesn't do very well against Colossal Sky Turtle. It costs 6 mana. So if I'm able to get the Sky Turtle online, that's potentially really good. If he casts any creature, I'm going to Subtlety, pitching Fire Ice. Unless it's Voidwalker, no, I'm not going to kill Voidwalker, because then he'll get it back. And he can probably take over the game just with the Voidwalker in play. Yeah, any creature here is getting Subtlety. I'm not even going to be subtle about it either. Damping Sphere. Each spell costs 1 more to cast. So that makes Living End cost... That makes... Living End costs 4. 3 for Agent plus 1. Gonna go get... No, I'm not gonna do it now. I gotta wait. I gotta start playing better. Alright, now it's their end step. I can do it. Charlotte's Agent. Rebuy. Hopefully they don't have Surgical. Surgical would cost them... They could afford Surgical. No, they couldn't. Actually, I don't remember if they could or not. Alright. Scape Shift, not the best draw. I'm going to tap a land with Ice. And try to draw another land. That's a Living End. That's the worst card on the deck to draw. We've been plagued by drawing Living Ends recently. And now Thoughtseize is a live card again. There's a Bogart Trawler. I'm going to Subtlety that. Pitching Gifts Ungiven. If I draw a land here, I need to draw a land to cast either Gifts or Charlotte's Agent. So I'm not going to be upset about what happens here. And there's also just a chance if that thing resolves, I just am never able to recover. Okay. Not representing Surgical Extraction over there. Land here would be big. That's a Curator of Mr. Ease. That's a Subtlety. I don't think I'll Actually, would I? Yeah, there's no point in pitching Subtlety to prevent Bogart Trawler now. Their graveyard's horrible. So here's the problem. If I pitch Subtlety with pitching Charlotte's Agent, yeah, I keep them off the board, but like, where does that leave me? I have Escape Shift and a Living End and 3 lands in play, and I can't even suspend the Living End. So I'm going to let that resolve. Oh no, my graveyard. Man, this league's not going as good as the last one did with Dank Living End. I blame Society. Specifically, the member of Society that we're playing against. That was a good draw. Mountain Cycling. I should go get black. I'll get the Proving Ground and play it. Alright, so now Living End is live again. We're still not anywhere close to the Escape Shift. We're going to take 3. Opponent is holding 4 cards in hand. Unclear what the contents of their hands are. They do nothing. Probably holding Soul Spike, at least 1. There's the Sacred Foundry. Okay, we're inching closer to Escape Shift win. What I'm going to do is put the pressure on. I'm going to cast the Charlotte's Agent. Getting Oliphant into play could be big game. We reveal quite a few cards. Hopefully they didn't look at them all. Alright, it worked. I'm a little bit surprised our opponent didn't have anything. But against a deck like ours, nothing works. Except for just Raw Dog Storming up to 17, that works. This is the best deck in Modern. It's just that our opponents and also Magic Online don't realize that. So it keeps giving us these battles. These unwinnable battles. Liliana of the Veil doesn't do it here. Toxic Deluge. Oh, it does. They deluge for 4 instead of 5. Well, actually, they were at 15. They're at 15 after they cast it, not during the resolution. How does Deluge work? As an additional cost, pay the life. Okay. I still have Flash Subtlety. There's the final Living End. So we don't have any more Living Ends in our deck to cast. And we also don't have Escape Shift in our deck to cast. So Bring to Light is a pretty useless draw here. However, we're 2 lands away from Escape Shift win. Yes. They give us something to do. Do they put it on top or bottom? Show game log. They put that on top. The problem is Soul Spike would send them to 19, which means that Escape Shift for 7 lands wouldn't finish them off. Escape Shift for 18 lands would win through a single Soul Spike. Alright, the problem is if I Gifts Ungiven, I have 1 mana. I'll get 2 mana. I don't care about Damping Sphere anymore. I think what I do is I give some given and I go get some black mana that aren't mountains. Alright, and actually that hit was good. Hitting them twice, hopefully with this subtlety, will be important. So what do I want? Hidetsugu's no good if they see it coming. I think what I want is Swamp, Otawara, Rafine's Tower, I could get another Beseiju, but if I play it, one of them goes away. So that's not very good. And do I have a black Surveil land? That one's called Underground something. No, I don't. So I just want Forest Plains Island. No. I guess Xander's Lounge. Alright. I don't think they'll give me Otawara because that bounces their Unstoppable Slasher, so I think they're guaranteed to give me 2 black here. And either way, I've got enough black as long as they just give me 1, which they have to. It's just 4 lands, and only one of them can do anything. The rest of them are just lands. So there's not too much here to think about. I think you just don't give me Otawara. You give me the basic Swamp and one of the Triomes. Good thing there's no Magus of the Swamp yet. I feel like Merfolk players were saying for years that we need a Magus of the Moon. They gave me Otawara. Interesting. So I made it look like I really needed black mana. But by giving me Otawara, that's just giving me time to get rid of Unstoppable Slasher or any other problem permanents they might put into play. They're going to play Slasher here. No, they don't. Interesting. They put it on top. So their hand is, what? 2 Soul Spikes, Slasher. There's a Steam Vent. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can... I don't need to pay any life for that. So they can double Soul Spike themselves, me and them. That would put them to currently 20. Plus this 3, 17. I realize 20 plus 3 is not 17. Double Soul Spike here is a problem. That puts them to 20. That puts them to 20, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands doesn't end them. However, opponent is a Thoughtseize deck. For that reason, I'm going to do this now. I'll get my Valakut in play. Any future mountains are also a huge problem. Oops, wrong phase. Okay. Yeah, they have to double Soul Spike. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's all of them. All right, none of them are selected. Gosh, these Steam Vents are hard to click on. 1, 2. Okay. That's all the lands. Then we go get Valakut, Mountain, 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 mountain. No, no, no. Valk hit them. What's going on? Magic Online was dancing there. Then I have 2 surveils to dig for more mountains, which are not able to be thought seized. Bring to light I actually don't want. Just want more mountains. Don't want that. Okay, now can they soul spike themselves? Yes, use the ability. Are they just making me do it for the sake of it? Alright, they've got a soul spike here. They don't have it. Alright. On to game 3. I still like leaving the infinite combos out of the deck because they're so well, actually, I'll leave Spike Feeder Angel in, and I'll take out Beseju. Because Spike Feeder Angel, they're a damage deck. They have to do 20 damage to me. So I don't want to spend that much time clicking with Kiki-Jiki or leave it. Kiki-Jiki itself is vulnerable to Soul Spike. Oops. I kicked my power source. Alright. Hopefully that didn't come through on video. This is an easy keep. We've almost got a Scape Shift win in this hand. We just need 2 more lands, or most likely. And a Thoughtseize here, taking my Search for Tomorrow would be a little bit annoying. Taking Bring to Light, I don't even care because we're so far from casting it. We can put something else together. I don't want to leave Kiki-Jiki in because that combo meets its demise to a Soul Spike, whereas Archangel at least doesn't. Alright, well. They get our Search for Tomorrow. Little bit upsetting, but now we can Tarn for some sort of a Surveil land. Or probably actually white. We don't need to think about it anymore. And if they Thoughtseize again, I'll just take it. Because I don't want to Thoughtseize into a Cascade spell. Or I don't want to cycle into a Cascade spell. Yep. There's a... Look at my hand. It's a 1-mana Taxing Probe that didn't draw a card. And is opponent Landlight? Yes, they are. Alright, I just need white mana. Forest Plains Island, I think that's what I want. They also mulligan substantially. That's just the power of this deck, though. Alright, there's a Demonic Dread. I think what I'll get here is Forest Plains Islands. I think I'll get a Sulfur or a Thundering Falls. All the red-blue dual lands are something falls. It's hard to remember which is which. I want a Thundering Falls. Thunder. You guys ever play that game? It's not really much of a game. It's just a drinking activity. I will cycle the Street Wraith now, see if I can draw like a Teferi or something. Another Bring to Light, not bad. Now this game's looking pretty much unlosable. Did I successfully... Why is it giving me a mana? Okay. not sure why it warned me about that. I swear, Magic Online, like, sometimes it forgets what it's doing. In the last video I recorded, I clicked on a creature. The creature began to attack, and then it skipped combat. Yeah, Damping Sphere, I don't really mind. I only have one creature in my graveyard, so Bring to Light for this. Can also just Besage You now. That's fine with me too. I was going to say, if I Otawara to bounce that Damping Sphere, I can Bring to Light into Living End. But, like, really? I only have one creature in my graveyard, so. And I know this isn't the most impressive way to get wins. And I'm not sorry at all. Cast. So what do I want to do here? One thing I don't want to get is a mountain. See what I draw. Oh, there's the mountain anyway. I'm going to do something. I don't have any 5s in my deck to get. I know I do, but I can't because I only spent 4. Did I not bring Archangel in? I don't think I want to bring Archangel in anyway. I could get another Bring to Light here, and I could do a Storm Chain. Opponent's at 17, so Hadatsugu doesn't quite do it. I'm just going to Lorien Revealed. Cast. Great. You'll love to see it. And they can't Thoughtseize Valakut. They could Thoughtseize a Bring to Light. Maybe that was an argument not to cast Bring to Light last turn. Yeah, that might have actually opened the door for the opponent to come back into the game now if they have a Thoughtseize. But then what I can do is Endurance and then Demonic Dread. There's Ashiok. Spells and abilities can't elaborate, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, that stinks, but I can attack it. Because this is a... Oh, yeah, this is a forest, so I can't cast Endurance. They exile my graveyard, which is a little bit of a bummer. And I can't search my library. Otawara costs 4. What I'll do is I'll pay 2. Then I'll pass the turn. I'm paying 2 so that I can Endurance and Otawara. They can mill me again with Ashiok. That's fine. Shieldred the Apocalypse. Once again, the opponent is threatening us with Soul Spike, and now I can't cast Endurance to attack Ashiok. So I think I just have to bounce Ashiok. Actually, what I'm going to do is end step. Cycle Oliphant. I have 8 lands, which is threatening 21 damage. Soul Spike only gets them to 20. But this, the Shielded Trigger doesn't gain them any life yet. They should use their Ashiok. They're thinking about if they want to use it because it might be dead to an Endurance, I assume. Nah, they don't care. All right. Mountain Cycling. I need to count the number of mountains left in my deck. Oh, I can't search my library. All right, at least I went to the graveyard. Actually, that's kind of a good thing. There's an Ardent Plea. Valakut. Ardent Plea. I can trade this Shieldred for an Oliphant. Yeah, this still works. Ashiok, it only gets rid of the graveyard on their turn, then I can build it up again. And the way Living End is worded, and the way Cascade is worded, Ashiok doesn't stop it from being cast. Is opponent considering casting Surgical Extraction? Okay. End of their turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. End of their turn, I'm going to bounce Otawara. I'm going to bounce Ashiok with Otawara. Gosh, it was really difficult for us to finish off an opponent who had 1 land for many turns. Necro, beginning of your end step. Gosh, you may pay any amount of life. We have to bounce that. Can Otawara bounce enchantments? Artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker? Yes. Alright, so stop in their main. Bounce it. I almost didn't have a stop. That would have been bad. And now we can attack. Or, you guys. If I draw Hidetsugu, I can attack them and then pray that they don't have a Surgical to manipulate their life total. Wait, that's just what I'm going to do anyway. I don't care how wrong it is. I can bring to life for Hidetsugu. No, I can't, because then Ashiok stops me, so I have to attack Ashiok, but I can do it next turn. Attack Ashiok. Exalted. Oh, and you know what? Another target creature. Okay, so Oliphant can't target itself. So we're not risking attacking for 8 instead of 6. But we are... Ardent Plea messes it up. Alright. There's a Soul Spike. That's a little bit obnoxious. I have 1, 2, 3 mountains in play. I'm going to cycle this. See if I can get a Force of Negation. Same idea. I don't have double black, so I can't cast that. Oh, no. Yeah. Ashiok is doing a lot of work. Might be taking this game for granted. And our opponent can draw a ton of cards. Wow. I just lost this game to Necro Dominance. Potentially. There's Necro. technically I should have done this in their end step, because they can still cast a sorcery removal spell, which is, I meant to do it in their end step. I forgot I had that stop there. Yeah, he can draw so many cards now. He's already used one Soul Spike, so he would need the remaining 3 to finish us off. Hopefully we get to touch this Ashiok. Opponent has to win their next game in, assuming they win this one, they have to win it in like 4 minutes and 30 seconds at least. Assuming they just finish us off right here with Soul Spikes. Okay, that's just a march. That doesn't damage me. And I'm going to make them play it out. They probably have everything they need to win, but I'm going to make them play it out. Because I take timeouts, as I'm sure they do too. What do they exile? Dampen Sphere, okay. Another bounce spell would be great. Alright, let's just cast that, because I can't search my library. There, go ahead, Soul Spike it. If I had one more land, I could have, I guess, Living End, but that wouldn't do anything. The tree would be nice. Yeah, go ahead, take a Demonic Dread. I'm passing priority for the rest of the game. The tree folk that makes a food token would be really nice. It would stave off Shieldred. And I'm leaving Shieldred. I'm leaving Oliphant back to block Shieldred. Necro Dominance, opponent's going to draw up to a lot of life, or a lot of cards. Should probably go up to 7 or 8 cards in hand at least. Yeah, they gain a lot of life. I'm not winning this game. Good thing they counted right. May not be winning this game, but I also may not be losing it, if you know what I mean. Now, because of Ardent Plea giving +1/+1 and the Oliphant having Trample, I might be able to shoot down Ashiok in this attack step. Assuming I get to attack. I'll go to 8, where 2 Soul Spikes finishes me. Opponent has to discard the hand size. Let's see if we see anything interesting in their discard. They have 16 cards in hand. All right. I take 2 from Shieldred. It's a land. Play the land. Attack. Ashiok. I don't have any 1-card combos that I can get. Or do I? Done. I can get Gifts Ungiven. I can Scapeshift to finish off Shieldred. So that's what I'm going to do. Where is my exile? Where's my Scapeshift? There it is. All right, cast. No, sacrifice the non-mountains. I just need to kill Shieldred. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Target that. Target that. What's going on? There's breakdancing. Is breakdancing better than that Olympian? Alright. Graveyard. The reason I didn't get all of them is because mountains in our deck are now removal spells, and we can't finish our opponent off with Valkut anyway. So if they were to put out like a Bogart Trawler or something, we could shoot it with a future mountain. I don't have a life gain spell in the main deck besides Archangel Thune, and that wouldn't be enough life or fast enough. Another Shieldred. Go to 6 here, and then I get Soul Spiked. Opponent is going to gain a bunch of life. What's in my graveyard? Mostly lands. Okay. Yep, they gain a bunch of life. Now they have to sort these triggers out. I think there's a faster way for them to do it, but they don't know how to do it. My clock was spinning down, okay. Now they have to discard a hand size. They only have to discard 2 cards, though. Opponent's clock is ticking down. I like where this is going. They Soul Spike the elephant. They should probably just Soul Spike me here. If they have it. Yeah, they Soul Spike me. Do they have one more? No, they don't. I got them a draw step. They have to clean up. Guys, I'm getting excited. You know how I feel about timeout wins. They're my favorite thing. Yeah, sure. And guess what? I'm going to trigger Cascade. To kill your Shieldred, hopefully. Even though it gets back another one. Cast Living End. Ooh, they didn't. Because of Necrodominance, their Shieldred was exiled. Opponent has 9 cards in hand. We might be able to win the game naturally. Or sorry, 9 cards in deck. Force of Despair. They exile both of our creatures. And now there's no creature. Do we have 1 creature in our graveyard? Or no, we have 2. Force of Despair. Well, now it's gone. We don't have any creatures in our graveyard now. But we can Demonic Dread to get rid of that. Dauthi Voidwalker, that does nothing. I mean, it would do something if our opponent didn't have 12 seconds left to win 2 games. Let's see if they're complaining in the chat. Nope. They're not wasting their time. End. Go to my turn. Play the Breeding Pool. No. Demonic Dread. Black, red. Demonic Dread, trigger Cascade. Oh no, the program's freezing. Are we getting standbyed? Anyone remember Halo 2? Oh, we're out of Living Ends. It's okay. All right, as soon as I press this button, the opponent's going to time out. And we did it. We won the match totally legitimately. Round number 3 with Dank Living End. We could be 2-0, but I have to protect the deck from bans, so we're 1-1. I'm going to keep on the power of 2 Generous Ents and Oliphant. And also, we do just have a turn 5 Deceiver Exarch win. Unfortunately, this is a Delighted Halfling deck. Looks like Yawgmoth. We don't have a good way to get rid of that, so we are just going to suffer through whatever they want to do. And I'm going to go get red lands with these land cyclers. I think the first one I'm going to get is I'm going to get green-red first so that we can we can potentially cast this Endurance on curve. What do they mill? Boots, Rumble, and what do they surveil? This could be Eldrazi combo. A commercial district is what I want here. This is a turn 3 Living End as well. So Steam Vents is actually one of the lands I wanted anyway. Unfortunately, if I cycle here to get another creature into my yard, I don't naturally draw the Steam Vents, but I don't need to naturally draw it because I can cycle something for it. I've already got black-red. And then if we can maybe kill some time doing a Living End here, making our opponent react to that, and rebuild from that. Why did the Reliquary? Okay. We could set up a natural Deceiver Exarch win. I'm going to use Oliphant here, 1 because I want the Steam Vents, and 2 because that leaves a green card in my hand for Endurance. I want Steam Vents. Our opponent doesn't have any creatures in their graveyard either. This could just be a clean win with I use Shardless Agent now. That puts more creatures in play. It could just be a clean Living End kill. And there's no need to Endurance here because they don't have anything worth putting away. There's the Living End after revealing 49 cards. Opponent said something. They say hi, GL. I took offense to that. So they want to get their white back. What does this card do? Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a land card. So I'll let that happen. And then I think I'm going to exile it or tuck it with Endurance. So this gives me another creature back. And then I get to get rid of their graveyard again. And we get a food token. Although this food token doesn't match the Generous Ent. This food token is clearly something that a spider would eat. And I don't think a Generous Ent would eat like a partially mummified, pre-digested some sort of humanoid. I don't think that's what the Generous Ent would bring me. It looks like he's holding some berries and some fruits, probably. That makes more sense for a tree. So kind of a fail here by Daybreak Games. They should have used one of the food tokens that looks like food that you would want to eat. All right, well, there's a Kiki-Jiki win next turn. If this isn't just an outright win here, I'm going to target something that can't get fatal pushed. That's why I went for the Generous Ent there. Yeah, I realized he didn't have a fetch land in play, but he could do some sort of weird thing to trigger Revolt. Okay, so he wants to block Charlotte's Agent. And putting Trample on the biggest creature, too, is just a smart play. He's blocking the Trampler. I don't agree with that. Yeah, he thinks better of it. I think this block is much better. Did I have lethal here? Yeah, I had lethal. Well, not really. He could have tapped the he could have blocked with Orcish Bowmasters. All right, and he triggers Revolt. So upkeep, I'm going to tap one of his lands. This will prevent him from casting a 4-mana spell potentially. Tap, Overgrown Tomb. So even though this game went pretty well, usually Yawgmoth's a very hard matchup for Living End that requires you. I wouldn't say it's a losing matchup for normal Living End, but the games get dicey. And if it's a 50-50 matchup for a normal Living End, it's probably not a good matchup for this. I want Artifact Destruction. Even though we didn't see it, one of his best cards is Agatha's Soul Cauldron. What don't I want? I think I'm going to take out Kiki-Jiki Deceiver Exarch. I think I will also take out the Force of Negations. And we might want Hidetsugu. If he has Yawgmoth in play, he can manipulate his life total. So maybe we don't. I need to cut two cards from this. I definitely want all the Endurances. Maybe on the draw we don't want Oliphant. We don't need all that red mana for Kiki-Jiki anyway. The reason I took Kiki-Jiki out is because I expect this game to go at kind of a grinding pace where I'm not going to just get to combo and get a clean win. And he has Fatal Pushes in his deck anyway. He can trigger Revolt and take out the Deceiver Exarch before I can combo. And I expect, like almost every matchup, I expect the long games to go towards Escape Shift strategy. Ooh, that's so close to being good. So actually, no, that's really good because I have Generous Ent. I didn't see Generous Ent at first. That's a fantastic hand. That's one of the easiest keeps of my life. I will keep. Opponent goes to 6, and I start with a Leyline of the Void. So that should be good against the White of the Reliquary strategy. Another Steam Vents, I would pay 2. And actually, I could just cycle Curator here. Since I have another land drop, and I can cycle Generous End next turn. I think I might want the additional card in my hand before I start deciding things. Like what land to get with Generous End. There's Agatha's Soul Cauldron, like I expected. I'll give him something for it. There's Subtlety, but we can't Subtlety the Soul Cauldron. If that had been Force of Negation instead, I would have used it. Yeah, he goes after my graveyard. It's unfortunate. But like I said, these post-Cyborg games don't tend to go as planned. We will Force Cycle for, I believe, a we don't need Breeding Pool. I think what I need is... Yeah, I think I do want Breeding Pool because I want to suspend here. This is a little bit painful, but I want to suspend. I need to reconfigure the lands. I think I need maybe 1 or 2 more shock lands and 1 or 2 fewer tap lands. I'm not sure what the ideal construction is yet. The need for all these mountains kind of gets in the way of the typical mana base. Once again, the Subtlety being here instead of Force of Negation is looking rough. But we're close to casting it. We could at least 4 mana cast Subtlety and slow the game down that way. We also have Lorien Reveal to go hunting for Bring to Light or Scapeshift or Gifts Ungiven. Although because of the Soul Cauldron, I don't really have as much access to Gifts Ungiven as I'd like. I have to focus on value gifts instead of combo gifts because I'm only going to get 2 of the cards. He can exile cards with Soul Cauldron if I go to get them back with the Sky Turtle. Unless he taps his Soul Cauldron, in which case we have free reign. I'm going to suspend. Play a land tapped because I don't want to take any more damage that I don't need to take. And now I'll hold up Subtlety. Pitching most likely Shardless Agent. None of these abilities of my creatures are activated abilities that matter on the battlefield. Yeah. Alright, well, let's see what he does here. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I want to keep that off the battlefield. However, I'm going to see if I can get a land. There's a Fire Ice. That's pretty good. I can take out his Eldrazi token. I'm just going to exile Shardless Agent. Soul Cauldron has rendered our graveyard pretty useless. And that slows him down a turn at least. So Urza Saga. If I tap it in his upkeep before it gains the ability, he can't make a construct. So that might be the play here with Fire Ice. I'm running out of cards quickly, though. I do get some Search for Tomorrows. And now I cannot kill this Bond token. But it was more important to keep my Leyline in play. Yeah, our opponent is getting us pretty good here. Surgical's the Subtlety. That doesn't matter at all. He's potentially worried about a Living End next turn because I pitched a Shardless Agent, which makes it look like I have more Cascade spells, but in reality, I've just given up on it. I don't know if I agree with that because Subtlety is a bad draw for me at this point. Although it might be a bad draw for him too. If I have 4, I'm going to have 4 mana here. I will cast to get a plains. That opens up to fairy as a draw. Misty also is pretty good. I can go get a surveil land with that. So what I'm going to do is tap Urza Saga in his upkeep. That revealed that I don't have a Boseiju in my hand. Well, no, I could still have Boseiju because of this Misty. Okay, now he can get his graveyard going. Will it be enough time, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next turn. Where Orlando and damage to himself away from Scapeshift. I take 2. Now, he could have sacrificed this Liberator and then given... Don't want to do that in his main. I want to do it in his end step. He could have sacrificed Liberator, give himself another thing to Soul Cauldron, and hit me for more damage. I want to get Commercial District because I want that Surveil. Absolutely don't want that. Although I'm going to search for tomorrow. So all that really did was get a Living End out of my deck. And I think I'll Lore and Reveal this turn and just try to set up for a future turn. I want to get... I don't have a Swamp yet, so I'll get a Swamp. There's a Spike Feeder that could gain some life. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's not going to flip. So I'm only going to 7 probably next turn. Cast Lore and Revealed. Not the worst. Not the best, but not the worst. I'll play the land. I can get 2 more lands out of my deck now. And I believe I have 1 more Surveil land. He should exile something with Soul Cauldron in case I have a Delve spell. He doesn't. Target card from my graveyard. I don't know why he didn't do that. I thought about putting Delve spells in this deck, like Murderous Cut. It's one of the few things I can do for 1 mana, and Murderous Cut kills Primeval Titan. Might need to do a Living End next turn just to reset. But because he didn't use... Well, I can get another creature here either way. Something else I could do is Spike Feeder and my own Spike Feeder to its own ability, and then Charlotte's Agent, Cascade, get back Spike Feeder. He hasn't used this Liberator. He just wants to attack me. He thinks he's going to win through damage. Go to his end step. Force Cycle. I think casting these big fatties is a non-starter. Okay. Maybe I should have led with Oliphant, because I think I'd rather get the Clue token than get a 6-4, or get the food token. Maybe a little bit of a mistake there. I want the Hedge Maze. For sure. And I'll have 3 green next turn, even with the tap land. And then I want to Mountain Cycle. And I think I want Thundering Falls. Still got plenty of mountains left in the deck. There's a Scalding Tarn, but I don't have any Surveil lands left in my deck. So I'm not going to play that. I want to surveil here. A creature ID. Well, he's got Nile Spellbomb. So at this point, Living End. Oh man, I think I need to leave that there. Put on top. Yeah, now a Living End is just a Wrath because he has a Nile Spellbomb. He should sacrifice his Outland, his whatever Liberator now. So he didn't Surgical me. He should sacrifice this now to take out Leyline of the Void. He'll get it back. Here goes Niles. Yep, he uses it. Okay. Opponent sees the line. Should have left another green untapped. I didn't need to tap both my greens. That was silly of me. But I at least get rid of these artifacts and I can block that Liberator and just trade with it if he attacks. So he exiles the graveyard. And we board wipe. But not really because he gets a creature back. No! Now Spellbomb. What happened? Oh, okay. I'm a silly. Leyline of the Void, because the destroy triggers on the stack. When his creature dies, he doesn't get his creature back. It gets exiled before it's destroyed. Only playing one Underground Mortuary. I like playing, even in a 60 card deck, I like playing 2 or 3 of these things. The Surveil lands are really good. There's a Malevolent Rumble. Now at this point, we just need to find gas. And I think at this point now I would cast a Generous End. He's exiled all of our subtleties, 1 Living End. We still have 1 Living End left in our deck. Besage you wouldn't be a bad draw either. There's another Nile Spellbomb. That's a little bit irrelevant. Not going to block. There's only one creature in a graveyard, so he can only make this a 1/2 next turn, unless I put something into the graveyard. There's a Gifts Ungiven. Alright, that's a good draw. I'm going to start with Thundering Falls. Do I want Fire Ice? Yeah, I want to leave that in my deck. No attacks. Now I have to be careful here. I can't just go get a combo to my graveyard, obviously. So this is going to have to be a value gifts, I believe. I probably want to get Teferi. There goes Delighted Halfling. He puts a 1/1 counter on the Eldrazi spawn. And he's out of creatures and graveyards. Sacrifices his Nurturing Peatland, which is the Horizon Canopy Cycle green-black land. And I can't just go get Scapeshift because he won't give it to me. Grist the Hunger Tide. I can't get a Subtlety either. So unfortunately, I think Grist is going to resolve. He creates an insect. So any creature I put into play is going to be ended next turn. Unless he gives me a Sky Turtle and lets me best Shardless Agent. Oh, but here's... Well, okay, if I had... So what I could try to do is be tricky and assemble the Archangel combo. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Might need to take a little time here. He can exile the graveyard at instant speed, and he's going to know all my tricks. He doesn't know I have Spike Feeder in hand. I could just go get 3 Cascade spells. There's no way he gives me Bring to Light. I think anything I do starts with Sky Turtle. Do I just want to get the removal pile of Sky Turtle, Teferi, Fire Ice, and Beseiju? I want Sky Turtle. At this point, he doesn't need the graveyard anymore to win the game. But I want Endurance. I want Teferi Time Raveler. And I don't think I want to expose the Archangel Thune yet, because that represents an instant win. Sky Turtle, Endurance, Teferi Time Raveler, and Night of Autumn. Done. Maybe I could have thrown a Gifts Ungiven in that pile, but I don't think he would give it to me. So he gets to pick what 2 cards I draw. And then if he goes to exile my graveyard ever, I can Sky Turtle to get one of these cards back. I could also just naturally draw the Archangel. I don't have 2 white yet, but I can get it with Scalding Tarn. All right, I think he gives me like the pile I like the most. He didn't give me anything to do at instant speed there. He's still protecting his graveyard. There's Ardent Plea. I'm going to start with Teferi. And I'm going to bounce Soul Cauldron. Well, actually, does it matter if I bounce Soul Cauldron? Do I just want to keep his creature count low? He sacks a creature. What is he doing? He endurances. I'm not very dependent on my graveyard, so I'm not too concerned with this. He had to Endurance, though, because he couldn't do it any other time once Teferi resolved. Now what I can do is bounce Endurance. Just to take some heat off of Teferi. Yeah. I will bounce the Endurance. See what I draw. I draw my own Endurance. It's very good. Night of Autumn. Oh no, I had to tap my white. Alright, let's see what I can get. I'm losing on time, which I'm not happy about. Sacred Foundry. I can go get more white. Yes. Night of Autumn. White, green, black. I'm gonna destroy the Soul Cauldron. Still not banking on my graveyard winning me this game. I have to go to the bathroom, so I hope I can finish this game quickly. I should have attacked Grist. I was mashing through my turn to try to finish the game quickly. It wouldn't have killed Grist, but he can sack to destroy it now. And if I ever care about my graveyard too much, I can tuck it. Okay, what does he bin? Bins Beseju. We're an Archangel away from a pretty easy win. Should have attacked last turn. That would have put pressure on him to use an insect token, because okay, he doesn't have Yawgmoth yet. He can get the Scalding Tarn, that's fine. He might want to tuck his own graveyard. No, he wants mine. There's another Soul Cauldron. So taking it out was a little bit irrelevant. I'm going to cast Endurance just to protect myself from removal. And I've got to catch up on time here in the event that I lose this game. Go to my turn. Draw. We've got a lot of good draws in the deck. That might be one of them. Start by plussing. I don't have any attacks. I could board wipe, but Grist can start making creatures if I do that. So I'm actually just going to pass. I have Beseju up. I think what I'll do is maybe go after Soul Cauldron with Beseju. If he attacks with Endurance, I think I'll double block. He makes another creature and puts a Bowmasters in the graveyard. Double block. Maybe I should have triple blocked to prevent myself from losing to a removal spell. But he's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still do enough damage here. He's just going to he's going to take out my Endurance, it looks like. Now I think I'll go after Soul Cauldron. We've managed to get ourselves ahead on time, but barely. He gets a Dryad Arbor. This Grist, all it needs is a few cards in the graveyard to finish us off. I'm going to draw a card. Ice. I'm going to tap the Nile Spellbomb to force him to do that now, if he wants to do it at all. Because I could theoretically get... I drew Ardent Plea. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because now he can't manipulate my graveyard. I'm going to attack everything at Grist. Hoping that I lose some creatures. Remember, he has to tap Nile Spellbomb. Yeah, he's put together what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to gain 4 life and Ardent Plea. I have 1 Living End left. As far as I know. I counted a few turns ago. Yep, there it is. We haven't drawn very well this game. Normally against Yawgmoth, I take out some Cascade spells because I think it's less important. Let's destroy target artifact enchantment. Just get the permanent. And exile his graveyard. That cost me a lot of time. We both lose our graveyards, which is good with Grist in play. I'll take that trade. And now I can gain life at instant speed as well, and I'm an Archangel away from winning. I'm F16. I can't do anything. Well, I can Spike Feeder at instant speed, which is a little bit unfortunate. In terms of time, I've got to catch back up. He has 3 cards in hand. I have 1. My card doesn't do anything. I do have Exalted. I could get myself another Exalted. What does he want to do? He's going to go after my Endurance, most likely. Nope, goes after Spike Feeder. Oh, I have 6, so I couldn't do it. Not the end of the world. I should be at 12 life. Maybe it is the end of the world. If he attacks, I think I'll chump. I'll double block, I mean. Teferi cannot bounce Planeswalkers. So I'm just going to plus it and pass the turn. No blocks, no attacks. Hopefully that 4 life doesn't end up coming back to bite us. My only goal now is to get ahead on time. I'm not sure what it is about this deck that causes people to time out in game 2. Hopefully he thought seizes again. Surgicals, I don't care. I was done casting Living End anyway. 2 of them are already exiled. Surgical's not a very time-efficient card because it opens a bunch of windows on Magic Online. And it's nighttime, by the way, if anyone didn't know. If you were confused at home what time of day it was. He makes an insect. He elects not to kill anything. So he can start... I think I'm going to start picking off these insects with Teferi. We're super close to a win here. I'm going to start picking off these insects so if he wants to sack something, he has to sack Endurance. Misty. I will sack that to just get lands out of my deck. Rathine's Tower. No attacks. I don't have any attacks. So now if he wants to finish off one of my creatures with Grist, he has to produce another creature first. Our draws have been really bad. We just need any action spell pretty much. And if he attacks, I'll double block. He makes a creature. I can't bounce it again with Teferi. Need to draw something good here. If I draw a Gifts Ungiven, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to go get 4 creatures. That way he has to give me 2 creatures. He Green Suns for 5. What is this? This is likely game. Oh, it's just a white. Okay. I can chump that for a little bit. Maybe. He elects not to attack. And now we've picked up almost a full minute, more than a full minute on our opponent. Even a Valakut would be a decent draw here. That was bad. We don't want any more of those. I'm just going to get these cards, get these lands out of my deck. Get the freaking Proving Ground out. I don't know. Plus Teferi. Pass the turn. All that matters now is playing quickly. We're 40 seconds up. He can sack. We're probably going to lose this game unless I draw something next turn. He chooses to go after Endurance. That's fine. He Soul Cauldrons, so he can make a creature a 5/5, which takes... It has a Vigilance. Not that that really matters. I'm going to block the white because it's the biggest creature. And it would allow me to fetch next turn, even though I don't think that matters, because if I draw fetch land, I'm going to lose. I go to 2. Or go to 3, sorry. And now we need to slap the top of our deck and get something good out of it. Otawara Soaring City, that doesn't do it. But I'm going to make him play it out. Because clicking on his attackers takes some time. And I'm going to do this before the point of the turn where he can hit F6, because that kills the most time. Yeah. Better opponent regrets typing high GL. Bounce. That makes him think for a little bit. Alright, that took 3 seconds off. Now he can just mash into his attackers. I should be at 7 life here if I hadn't made that mistake with the grist. Instead, the game ends. Alright, so opponent's got to win the next game in 5 minutes, which is doable. Because there's so little time left, I definitely don't want Deceiver and Exarch. Do I want Force of Negations? Force of Negation almost seemed better than Subtlety, but that's probably just results-oriented thinking instead of thinking logically. I think I'll take out 1 Demonic Dread for 1 Force of Negation. If I had more time, I'd bring in Hidetsugu's second right, but I don't want to fumble around with that. Okay, there's a Bring to Light. This is pretty good. We can Waker of Waves on turn 2. And we also have Charlotte's Agent to get him with Living End. Archangel of Thune is a little bit unfortunate here. We can't really do anything with that. But we've got 2 lands and a Dig Spell. Waker of Waves is pretty strong too. It lets us see 2 cards. Opponent's taking a long time to keep their hand. They're down into the red now. We're almost a full 2 minutes up, so I just need to play quickly and I'll probably win. I don't know how fast they can kill me. Don't pay it. Pass the turn. I have no force spells in hand, so I'm just going to pass. We want to dodge Delighted Halfling, and we do. Now we'd like to draw land. Play. I'll search for Tom. That guarantees us a land sooner if for some reason this Waker doesn't hit one. And what would I do with Gifts Ungiven? It's kind of hard to say. I could Gifts Ungiven for just the Spike Feeder and another creature, and then try to play Archangel if it comes to that. I already have blue-green, so I can focus on getting white mana now. There's Soul Cauldron, but that's such a slow game plan. Hopefully. There's Leyline of the Void. It's a little late for that. Need a land here badly. We don't get either one, but we do get a Subtlety. Now I can keep a creature or a Grist out of play for a turn. And I think I will bin this Bring to Light because I'm the farthest from casting it of any cards. Startless Agent, even if it's not going to get me any graveyard creatures back, is still going to wipe his board. I'm going to go get white mana here If I ever did cast this Archangel of Thune, that would be annoying for him, for sure. So that's the reason I'm going to get white. Actually, I guess I'm closer to casting Leyline, so I got Leyline. I got black. There's a subtlety. Nice. There's nothing to take out on his side yet, so I'm not going to use Shardless Agent. He can cast Endurance here. Cast by exiling, bring to light. I'm way too far from casting that. And then hopefully if he has a Grist, I can get it with this. I don't care if you put that on top or bottom because this next subtlety is going after any. Darn it. All right, well, he gets a free discard spell. If I'm able to draw a swamp next turn, I could potentially really hamstring him. He's just leaving up Endurance again. A little bit unfortunate because he could start clocking us with that. But I can at least Shardless Agent it. Away. Land. Street Wraith. Okay. Against my better judgment, I'll take the 2 life. Looking for a land. Alright. Fire Ice. Ice. Need a land. Leaving Besage who endures. Yes, there's a land. Excellent. And he doesn't cast the Endurance. That was his last chance. So either he forgot to cast it or he put it on the bottom. I'm not sure. Could be either one. Might have Bowmasters here. No, he just goes after Street Wraith. Could still have Bowmasters. He doesn't have Bowmasters. That's nice. All right, so now I wish I would have pitched that Archangel instead of the Gifts Ungiven, or instead of the Bring to Light. Opponent has Delighted Halfling that resolves. And they have Urza's Saga too, so these construct tokens could get pretty scary, but I've got Shardless Agent to take care of them. I'm going to play Otawara and pass the turn. And I think now with Gifts Ungiven, I get the standard removal pile. Because Archangel's in my hand, I can't tutor the combo, but he could also just have Endurance, so I'm not going to rely on the graveyard for a win here. And I'll let him exhaust this Urza Saga, and then I'll go after the tokens with Shardless Agent. This looks like a Grist. Yeah, there's a Grist. All right. I just want 4 removal things. Don't care what they are. All right. I want Sky Turtle. I want Teferi. I want Endurance, which is kind of like removal. And I want Besage. I could probably concoct a better pile than that, but time is of the essence. He's not giving me the Teferi. That slows the game down way too much. And he doesn't give me Scar Turtle either. That's wise. There's a Shardless Agent. I have 1 creature in my graveyard. He has 1 as well. But I'm still going to cast the Shardless Agent because that wipes his board. These creatures are problematic with Grist. Now he could Surgical Living End here after this resolves. I don't have any artifacts or enchantments that I care about anyway for this Outbound Liberator. He exiles Endurance. Living End has already been cast, so there's no getting out of that. Before he can get another artifact, I'm just going to take out Urza Saga. And we F6. And unless he has another surgical extraction, I can now chump block and then cast another Shardless Agent to really wipe some time off the clock. Starts with Soul Cauldron on Halfling. It's pretty good for us, I think. He makes a Grist token. Alright, unless his last card is Surgical Extraction, I'm feeling pretty good here. Block the creature. And if I draw a green land here, I can double spell. I don't have white mana for that. We can board wipe again here, hopefully. Just need to avoid surgical. Nice, we do. Opponent's got 31 seconds to kill us with the Dryad Arbor and a Grist. That decision to go get Swamp could have cost us the game if we didn't have enough time, or if our opponent had more time. I would kind of like to draw a green card here in case our opponent's able to go crazy somehow and combo us with Grist. There's White of the Reliquary. That's not too crazy. Next turn I can Endurance. And it looks like we got there. Cycle the Curator. There's Demonic Dredge should we need it. I'm just going to cast Endurance, get his graveyard. This game might have been a win anyway. Just make him block. Grist goes down to 4. We trade off creatures. And then he's got 9 seconds to do 15 damage. Dank Living End is the secret timeout master. He puts Fulminator Mage in his graveyard. Let's see. Can I have a fun turn? Yeah. All right. Opponent gives up. They're upset about time, but you know what? Play faster. Round 4 here with Dank Living End. We're 2-1. I should specify that last round opponent wasn't being salty. He was just commenting that time was the reason he lost. Which, yeah, it probably was. This is a little bit of an unorthodox hand, but I'm going to keep. We have a turn 3 Cascade or Teferi, which is a little bit rare. Opponent starts with the Street Wraith, which indicates to me they're probably playing a Faithless Looting deck. Or they might be Living End. We'll see what they do. Oh, they were playing... Well, I can bounce that. Alright, that's actually not too threatening. I'll pay 2 life. I'll cycle Curator, and then I can either bounce the Esper Sentinel, which won't trigger it, or I can Oliphant next turn. And then I can also bounce it with Teferi if our opponent has a slow hand. 1, 2, 3. They mulligan to 6. Gonna go to their end step and cycle. I've learned my lesson about doing things at the wrong time more than enough times. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in playing fast that I do things at the wrong time. All right, we'll cycle now, look for subtlety. There's a Fire Ice. We could take out the Esper Sentinel or the Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see what they get. Cauldron complete. Maybe bouncing nothing makes the most sense. But if I bounce nothing, I don't get Sky Turtle back. Let's just see what our opponent does. I think I want them committed to the board. I can't pay the Sentinel tax if I cast Fire Ice. And I obviously don't want to put things in his graveyard. There's Cauldron complete. Oh, nice. I can bounce the Germ. That's really strong. So before I take the damage, bounce the Germ. Sky Turtle might be the best card in the deck. It has so much utility. And it's got the secret hidden ability too that we might not find out about this game. Obviously bouncing that before damage is when we want to do it. It should be unclear to our opponent what's going on because Swamp is not played in Living End anymore. This looks like this looks like I'm struggling on mana. But I wonder if they've checked my deck size. No comments. Grafdigger's Cage does everything you want it to. And then some. If by you, I mean me. And I think I just go for it here. This puts a lot of pressure in play. I'm not going to pay. And then I cast Living End. They get a Street Wraith back, which I had forgotten about, and the Street Wraith is unblockable because of my Swamp. So good on the opponent for playing Street Wraith. It's not a card I was expecting to see. Urza, High Artificer. What does this do? Create a 0/0. Okay, make a big token, which I can bounce with Teferi. Probably can just win a damage race here. I'm going to bounce that token with Teferi, I believe. What's funny is I have 2 basic lands, and I could cast Demonic Dread and Teferi Time Reveler, which is not something you see frequently. All right. Very good draw there. Don't need another force. Cast a fairy. And bounce the large creature. Opponent's dead in 2 swipes unless they can do something about it. Cauldron doesn't give lifelink. Opponent's got an interesting take on a blue-white Hammer Time deck. Urza Saga is too little too late at this point, most likely. Their last 2 cards, I think, need to be Solitude and a white card. And I'll force a negation pretty much anything here. Pitching an ice. Stoneforge Mystic. I can't end that. And he can tutor up an equipment to his hand, but he'll have to hard cast it. He gets a Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear costs 2 to equip. I'm still going to... Oh, he has Mox Opal, so he could equip it and put it on that Street Wraith, which would put him to 7 and still not alive. But I'm going to get rid of that. No shenanigans. Alright, we want the Besagus, clearly. Do I want to just bring in Stony Silence Kataki? I think so. Alright. Little bit of an experiment here. And if that's the case, I don't want Kiki-Jiki, Archangel, Spike Feeder. Do I want to leave Deceiver in to potentially tap down a huge creature? On the draw, I will leave a Deceiver in over an Oliphant. Nope, never mind. Alright. If you're wondering why I don't just pick one, Kataki or Stony Silence, it's because I think both these cards are funny. That's the reason. Now these artifact decks, he's not Affinity, but he has a lot of artifacts. These artifact decks tend to bring in Kappa Cannoneer. That opener, it has double force, and it has Besaju, and it's got Charlotte's Agent. So this is a little bit of a sketchy hand, but it can interact. I can't do anything about an Esper Sentinel. I'm just going to start with this Valakut. That's the only land in my hand that's guaranteed to come in tapped. The question is, so next turn I go get a green, white, blue land, which I believe I have. I'm going to force the negation anything here. Yeah, force that. I'm just going to force with ice. No. This opponent draws a card, but Thopter Foundry is an obnoxious card that I don't really have. Well, I have Besaju for it. I don't like it, though. I think I'd rather be exiled. Okay, if he plays anything that I need to answer right away, I can get it with Besaju. Otherwise, I'm just going to chill. I think I'm going to slow him down on this. Because I don't have Living End anymore. Maybe that's a fool's errand, taking out Living End. Yeah, because he's not really Affinity. He's just Hammer Time. So it might have been a mistake to bring in these artifact hate spells, because he's really more of a combo deck than an artifact deck. There are people out there in Modern, but he's playing Urza. He's playing kind of a hybrid Esper Sentinel Affinity. He's choosing top or bottom. Probably top. Relic of Progenitus, that could not matter less. Let's see. What did he do with... He kept Stoneforge on top. That's one argument for doing what I did, taking out. So I want blue, green, white. blue, green, white. There we go. I don't think that was actually the right land, because now I have to play Viseju. Oh, there's just Kataki. Kataki slows down his mana. So now he's got to pay mana to keep these artifacts around, which slows down what he can do. Probably not good enough to win the game. And now I really wish I would have pitched one of these Cascade spells. I didn't know I was going to draw that. And the way Kataki works is even though it's my permanent, it's his trigger. So if this is a paper event and he forgets the trigger, I call Judge and get him in trouble. I've never actually done that, but it's something you can do. There's a legacy player who wants built an all foreign language complicated cards deck, and his method of winning was game rule violation, lost tribal. Kindred. There's a Stoneforge. So he's got plenty of lands. See, this Kataki's not the best. And the problem is he's going to get his creature with this. Or he's going to get in his equip because he's going to go get a Cauldron Complete most likely. And then he can put it directly into play. He doesn't have to cast it. Yeah, there's Cauldron. So getting a little bit run over here. Maybe I should have left a Living End in. Sky Turtle wouldn't be the worst draw here. Yeah, I think I'll block that. Ooh, there's a Knight of Autumn. I'm going to play that and then cast Shardless Agent. And the Knight of Autumn can take out Culture Complete. And if for whatever reason he attacks with the Stoneforge, I'm going to block. In this high econ game where he's got a lot of lands, Stony Silence is definitely better than Kataki. But early in the game, like if an opponent floods out with a bunch of cheap artifacts, you can get them because they might only have like 2 mana and 4 artifacts. Oh, okay. Darn. Well, Urza Saga is now threatening to run away with the game pretty fast also. So now I think ideally I bounce somehow the Germ token. Thundering Falls, let's see what we have on top. Hopefully something good. That's not good. Okay, here's the problem. If we don't handle Urza Saga, it's guaranteed to make 2 bodies that are large. So I think that's actually the more important one to take out with Knight. Not going to attack. Not going to give him a free attack with Stoneforge. And if he draws another equipment naturally, he can put it into play as well. First Strike, Haste, Indestructible. Trample. There's Kappa Cannoneer. Okay, we need the Living Ends back just to board wipe. I can't win this game anymore. Kappa Cannoneer has Ward 4, so I can't even bounce it. Alright. That didn't go so well. Do I want Inevitable Betrayal for Kappa Cannoneer? Yeah, I'll do that. I don't want to depend on... Alright, let's go full Loot Crate. Take out Dread. And another Dread. It's our worst Cascade spell. Alright, we're in full Loot Crate mode. What are we going to get? We don't even know. That's pretty good. I'll keep that. I can get an early Stony Silence into play. And then that Kappa Cannoneer is bigger than all of his creatures unless he has a Cauldron Complete out. This has everything but a bounce spell for a Germ token. I'm going to start with the Xander's Lounge. And ship the turn. Unfortunately, I don't have any instant speed interaction. And I can't cast Stony Silence next turn unless I draw a fetch land or a Sacred Foundry or Plains. Starts with Street Wraith. Probably thinks Street Wraith is pretty good because I'm going to try to Living End. And he doesn't have any plays. Alright, that's a major relief. There's a Sacred Foundry. Get the Stony Silence out there. Not sure how bad this is going to hurt him, but we can hope. He also might have like a Spell Pierce or something. He doesn't. And he leaves whatever card he saw on top. If my next card is anything but Subtlety, then that was the right play, I think. And also we have this Bring to Light that we could get to pretty quickly. There's a Hedge Maze. I'm going to play that. Do I need Search for Tom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So do I think that if I suspend Search for Tomorrow next turn, I'm standing up here to think about this. If I suspend Search for Tomorrow next turn, because I can't suspend it this turn, is Escape Shift win fast enough? I think that's my best bet at winning the game. And more lands to play. So I'm going to Curator of Mysteries and then Oliphant. And in the meantime, if we draw a Cascade spell, we can hopefully slow the game down. I should have taken Kataki out. There's Cauldron Complete. Yeah. Do need to draw something here. Besides this card that I already know about. Mountain Cycle. I'll get a Commercial District to try to set up a bounce spell of some sort. Remember, Bring to Light can also just get a Living End. And he can't activate any abilities. Hopefully he doesn't have another Cauldron Complete in hand. Kataki War's Wage. How do I feel about that? Start by suspending. Play the Commercial Disc. Cascade spell would be good here. Don't need that. And cast Kataki War's Wage, and hopefully this slows him down. It doesn't have trample. None of his lands are artifacts, unfortunately. He evokes a Solitude. It's unfortunate, but I may have to bring to light just for a Living End next turn. At least I gain some life there. Yeah, bring to light for Living End is so bad. Never mind. Okay, I don't think I can win through that. Fire Ice now, I think, is one of the only draws that does anything for me. Take hopefully just 6. Fire Ice. I don't have anything else that finishes off Teferi. Waker of Waves. I can dig for something to do. I guess I just need the land and hope I can naturally draw Scape Shift, even though that wouldn't do it. Well, my only winning play here is cycle Proving Ground, find Fire Ice, and a Cascade spell. Exile an Ardent Plea from my graveyard. A little bit unfortunate. I feel like these games might have been winnable if I played a little different. Go to 3. Fire Ice Cascade spell. There's Generous End, but he can't bounce with Teferi. So if I draw basic land, I could play Generous End and block. I can't cast Search for Tomorrow. Even if I drew Fire Ice, I couldn't cast it. No, because Teferi's in play. Alright, well the problem is Teferi's in play, so Deceiver Exarch still doesn't help. Yeah, I don't have a winning line here. Because of Teferi, I can't bring to life or anything, and I can't tap anything with Deceiver Exarch, so good games. We'll try to square things up in round 5. Turn to details. Round 5 with Dank Living End. We're already guaranteed a winning record across the 2 leagues that I've done with it. We're 2-2 this league, and we went 4-1 last league. But I want more. I want that 3-2. Hidden Volcano. Alright, he's playing a Discover deck. I will take 2 and suspend. Search for Tom. Whenever I suspend that card, I think of I'm looking for Tom from MySpace. And we do have the turn 4 Gifts Ungiven. Hopefully it is fast enough. Ooh, opponent does nothing. Opponent's doing nothing over there. Wonder if they've got some sort of instant speed win. I'm going to forced cycle to go get, I think, a hedge maze. I'll get more colors. I'll get the Proving Ground. Even though this is looking like a potential turn 5 win, I'm not going to bank on it. So I'm going to get more colors instead of getting the Surveil in. We're both Proving Ground decks. This really is Zaitoro's Proving Ground. Sunscorched Desert. Oh, this is Calibrated Blast. Yep. All right. So I think what's important now is that we Fire Ice on their turn. This has to be Calibrated Blast. And unfortunately, I have to shock myself to ice. No, I don't, because I have Search for Tom. I can go get an island. Cast. Nice. Going to get island. I don't want to use Street Wraith. 15 also puts me at Emrakul range. So what I'm going to do is play Rafine's Tower. I can only take 1 more damage this game in all likelihood. And then on their upkeep, I'm going to ice. Oh, I forgot. This is just an instant. Flashback for 5, so I'm not worried about it again next turn. And if he has another land, he can just do it again next turn. But I can't force a negation this anyway, so I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited to his turn. Alright, what did he get? Yep, Emrakul, that's the most he can do. Go to 2. And then we hope he's just out of stuff, because his deck doesn't do much. And I can't even dig now. I do have another painless blue source next turn. He plays a land. This deck plays like 40 lands. All it does is Calibrated Blast. I'm going to ice to try to draw a card. No, let's ice through. Oh, I can't ice anyway. Never mind. Alright, so if he's banking on flashing back Calibrated Blast, I'm still a little bit boned. I'm going to Mountain Cycle to go get a Commercial District. Or Thundering Balls, I like that better. Play it. Graveyard. Calibrated Blast is an instant, so if he's got another one in hand, I'm done for. So I have to do this now. If I had 1 more life, I could Street Wraith. Draw Scalding Tarn, that's not the best draw. Alright, now his spells can't even be countered. Oh, it's a shame I don't have 1 more turn. Potentially. Or it just doesn't matter at all. There's a Force of Negation. Maybe he'll forget to use his Beseiju. I have 4 mountains for Valakut. If I had one more blue card in hand, I could give Sungiven. This is an instant. So there's no time here where I can give Sungiven. I mean, I'm just super dead. That's useless. My only hope is he forgets to use Beseiju. Yeah, okay. Alright. So what do I want? I want Beseiju to get... Opponents can cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. That prevents them from flashing back. Does that matter? I want to leave all my infinite combos in. Too bad I can't give myself hexproof somehow. You know what? Second right is coming in. I'm going to keep all my blue stuff. I'm going to take out the Street Wraiths. Because if I can keep my life total above 15, I can survive the first Calibrated Blast. Opponents can't... Do I care about opponents not casting things from their hand? I think I'd rather just get them dead quick with Living End. Even though, like, a lot of these cards... Well, Endurance is good. Endurance gets rid of it from his graveyard. Yeah, that's a mulligan, unfortunately. That's a keep. This hand has potential. I'll put back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need all these lands. I'll put back Valakut. Yeah, okay. He's got Gemstone Mines. So I just need to keep my life total above 15. They're not damaging themselves. Hidetsugu's looking kind of bad. Which I find hard to believe. Forest Cycle. I'll go get a multicolored forest. He might have Blood Moon, actually. Just going to get a basic forest. Yeah. Basic forest allows me to play around Blood Moon. But I'm still going to use Scalding Tarn here. I think I'll get Basic Island, too. Okay, he doesn't have it yet. He's only got 2 cards in hand, actually. I'm not going to play around everything. I'll get Hedge Maze. I need to start finding good stuff. Spike Feeder could actually be a good draw. Warrior Field, not the worst draw. I don't have anything anyway, so I'm not going to pretend I do. And there's really nothing in my graveyard that I want to rebuy. Okay, so now he's holding up. I'll Island Cycle. I don't anticipate getting to cast that and Gifts Ungiven in the same game. Yeah, here he goes. There's Calibrated Blast. the Blastoises. There's 15. Now I really need Endurance. So I want I guess Thundering Balls. I mean, even if I were to get Endurance and put it into my graveyard, I can't do anything else about it. I'll still get Thundering Balls. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any game against this deck. Need a good draw. Plains was not it. Have I binned any? I haven't even binned any Force of Negations, so I'm just toast here. If he has a land. All I can do is Riverwinder, try to cycle. I need to play blue land. So I can Riverwinder, try to cycle into a Force of Negation. And that's it. That's literally all I can do. Gosh, this card being an instant is such a beating. All right, we're having a staring contest. If I tap out, he's going to cast his Calibrated Blast. Little does he know, all he has to do is cast it and he wins. I'll try to set up a good draw. It doesn't matter, it's too slow. He'll go for it on my turn here because I can't have Force of Negation for free. And I'll just let him shoot me in the face here. I mean, I can't do anything. Oops, need to tap green. Get the Riverwinder. Okay, so maybe this league would have gone better if our Leyline of the Voids were Leyline of Sanctities. Shoot, that Besage is just a little bit too late. Not that it really mattered. All right, good games. Not a terrible league. I think we could have gone 3-2. That's pretty terrible league. Thanks for watching.